Other fights on this card that look fun. I'm not going to talk about the co-main. That requires a level of research I didn't get into, but yes, that will be a banger. The really interesting one is Edwards versus Diaz. This fight being rescheduled from last month, but will be, I think, the first like 5 round non-main event on a pay-per-view ever, and I'm absolutely here for it. Like, give these guys who are fun to watch over 5 rounds to make something fun happen. And this should just be absolute carnage from Leon Edwards after like what happened to Diaz at the hands of Masvidal and how good Edwards has looked every time he's stepped into the octagon. The only question I really have about this fight is how long before Nate Diaz starts bleeding, how much is he going to bleed, and how chill is the doctor in whose cage side going to be with the bleeding. I'm so certain about this one. Like, I almost am second guessing it, but I think there's just a difference in like the hunger, the drive, the chip on the shoulder of Leon Edwards that's sending him to the gym every day, all the time, striving to be the best. And Nate Diaz, who's like a real bad motherfucker, but not that same type of professional sport specific athlete. Having said that, Diaz was capable of pulling off a lot more than expected against Pettis, and you haven't really seen anyone against Edwards with that no quit, keep moving forward style. And it's not actually a bad warm up if you're going to be going up against Kamaru Usman. So hopefully Diaz tests Edward, gives him some adversity, doesn't stop moving forward, puts him against the clinch, makes him uncomfortable, and gives Edwards something to work through. But I'd be very shocked if this goes all 5 rounds without Edwards' elbows and knees just like painting Diaz's face red. Speaking of Leon Edwards, his last opponent, Bilal Muhammad, will also be stepping into the cage, which must be a bit of a bitter feeling for him since that fight ended by eye poke. But he'll be going up against the timeless Damian Maia, who he must be like 43 or something at this point, man. And there's no easy matchups at welterweight, but for Damian Maia, guys who can wrestle really well and strike good enough are the worst because he's going to have a hell of a time trying to take them down. And on the feet, he's going to get into trouble. And that's exactly what Bilal Muhammad is. He has pretty solid wrestling for welterweight, which means like near world class anywhere else. So I don't think Damien's going to have any easy ways to get this to the mat and is really going to have to struggle and work. And he just doesn't have the athleticism. It has to be perfect technique at his age. So unless he can find like a nice backpack standing up, and Muhammad also has really solid stand up, like, yeah, this could be it for Maya, but people have said that many times and he's proven them wrong many times. So it's definitely an interesting matchup. Maybe the one I have the most personal investment in on the card is Paul Craig versus Jamal Hill. Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, just like, I love this guy so much out of Scotland. Just like really awesome jujitsu fighter who just, it seems like a meme more than anything else the way he fights, and but he just doesn't give up on his submissions, attacks them relentlessly, and just finds a way to make it happen so often. His career has consisted of doing that and getting knocked out by guys with real power when he tries stupid shit on the feet, and that his lack of athleticism will make him suffer for. And Jamal Hill is the type of guy who's the type of fighter who's knocked him out. And I'd say he's actually better than the other guys who have knocked him out. That last performance against Ovince St. Preux showed he not only has power, but he has patience. So it's not going to be a matter for Paul Craig like against Kennedy Nzeku, where he just kind of took a beating, let him gas out, and then set up the triangle. Jamal Hill's going to be deadly for all 3 rounds, and it's only going to take one mistake from Craig. But he's shown some interesting things on the feet, and he had a knockout against a Mexican fighter, I think. I can't remember the dude's name, but he beat Shogun Hua on the feet, who is admittedly old, but still a really respectable stand-up fighter that Paul Craig was able to outstrike. So Paul Craig making his way to a title shot is like one of my favorite timelines possible. And Jamal Hill is an opponent Craig has not been able to overcome in the past, that he needs to do so if that reality is going to have even a pipe dream of success. So I'm hoping to see some more evolution from Craig, continued progress on the feet. He's had a long time to prepare for this matchup. I think it was supposed to originally happen in March. So kind of hopeful, kind of scared. Should be interesting. Then the last fight I've got highlighted here is Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell. Love my lightweights, best division. And this fight is just going to be so much fun. Both absolute killers on the feet. Brad Riddell coming from a kickboxing background with City Kickboxing, Dan Hooker, Israel Adesanya, Eugene Behrman, those kind of all right striking guys. He's looked really good so far in the UFC. Drew Dober has looked really good against everyone not named Islam Makhachev, but hey, who can't say that? And yeah, just 2 guys who are really talented out. I don't know if Dober's got a number next to his name right now or not, but he'd be just on the fringes either way. Just 2 really talented guys in a really awesome deep division who both love to strike. So awesome matchmaking, totally deserves its place as the prelim headliner, and cannot wait for it. Lastly, I just wanted to shout out that Hakeem Dawodu, our Canadian, will be fighting on the card as well. I think his opponent undefeated so far in the UFC, so not the easiest test, but I haven't seen Hakeem in the cage for a while now, so hope that there's something promising to talk about from him on Sunday. That's all for this Combat Corner. We're going to wrap it up, take a quick break, and we'll be right back.